And are you on your computer?
Big smiles. All right. Smiles, everyone. Smiles. Good morning. Welcome back, YouTubers. This is Inland Northwest Native News. I'm your host, Jeff Ferguson, and
I'm your co-host, Margo Hill. Gesquokst.
all right. Good morning to everybody. It's Friday. It's a fantastic Friday. We are really happy that you decided to join us. It is another great day to be Indigenous, and man, we have got some amazing news. Things just keep rolling along in this country, in Indian country. One of the things I saw, we talked a little bit about this, the Spokesman Review is hiring a racial equity reporter through donations from a variety of various organizations. This ran a couple of days ago, but if you hadn't heard, you know, they've been trying to keep up with all of the, what should we say, maybe brown stories. Hey, no, I'm just kidding. They've been trying to come up with all the racial equity, diversity stories, and they got some donations, one from Michael Conley Charitable Fund and the Smith Barbieri Progressive Fund. And they were coordinated by Innova Foundation. And the position is meant to raise awareness on systematic racism in the community, and the person who fills it will provide coverage for both the Spokesman Review and the Black Lens. You know, the Black Lens, they do a lot of amazing work. So we'll have to keep an eye on that. That was really exciting. And they started with $50,000, and then they got a matching donation at $60,000. So there's $110 in there. You know, reporters typically don't make quite that much, so it would probably fund it for a couple years at least. So we'll have to keep an eye on that. So what do you got going there?
Yeah, you know, that Black Lens comes from Eastern Washington University,
Oh,
some of our
sweet.
great students out there.
I did not know that.
Yeah.
That's really cool.
So other great news, Indian country is just alive and happening. Of course, we see history again is made by Deb Haaland. She is tapped for Secretary of Interior. President-elect Joe Biden has chosen Representative Deborah Haaland to lead the U.S. Interior Department. If confirmed by the Senate, this New Mexico Democrat would make history as the first Native American to serve as cabinet secretary. You know, we've had lots of assistant secretaries, but we've never had an actual Secretary of Interior. Haaland, who is from the Pueblo of Laguna and Jemez, became one of the first two Native women who was elected to Congress in 2018, her along with Sharice Davids. So the Interior, their job, when you ask what is that, why is it so important, their job is to protect the nation's natural resources and, you know, honor the government's federal trust responsibilities. Indian Country Today did a great job. Of course, you know, the Department of Interior manages the vast public lands, coastal waters, and oversees prominent departments such as our very own Bureau of Indian Affairs. Well, I don't know if it's our Bureau of Indian Affairs, but it often works with tribes. The Bureau of Indian Affairs.
Yeah.
So that, you know, at the Department of Interior, there's 70,000 employees. Haaland's nomination has been backed by many Indigenous leaders. Advocates and allies all across Indian country have been really working to get out their letters of support and send that to President-elect Joe Biden. So we're really excited about that.
Yeah, that's pretty exciting. I know when she was tapped, they ran a story on that, and then they ran another story on her that says, "I'll be fierce for all of us." And I thought that was really cool. You know, I think this administration, they are really making an effort. I mean, at least by the way they're filling up the cabinet to try to represent this country and the diverse cultures and ethnicities of everybody. I think it'll be really exciting to see what she can do and what she's got a seat at the table now. And that's something that, you know, Native people have never had in the cabinet. And to see her there, it is going to be a loss. We're going to lose a representative, but we're also in one sector. But then we're going to be at the table.
We're going to have a strong, powerful voice. And in the interview, Deborah Haaland, as you referenced, a voice like mine has never been heard as a cabinet secretary or the head of a Department of Interior. Growing up in my mother's Pueblo house made me fierce, and I will be fierce for all of us. Our planet and all of our protected land, and I am honored and ready to serve. So big shout out to Deborah Haaland.
Big shout out to Deborah Haaland. That is just such exciting news. For those of you that don't know, there was an opportunity I had a little while back. I got to go on a double date with the tribal chairman and her hubby and Deb Haaland. Hey, I'm just kidding. No, I got to take a picture with her down at AT&I with Carol Evans and Terry. It was pretty neat. She's a really neat lady. She spoke down there and just had really neat, inspiring words of wisdom. So, and she took the time. I thought it was really cool. She took the time to talk to everybody there that wanted to talk to her. She didn't just come in and speak and rush out. She made the time. That was really cool. So,
well, here in the Pacific Northwest, we have a powerhouse of leaders at affiliated tribes of Northwest Indians. So we put our full faith and support behind Deborah Haaland, and she's been doing amazing. So we're real excited about her appointment to the Interior.
All right. So moving right along, we have another story here that is, see if I can pick this one up. All right, so this is a little bit different. This is Nimiipuu Way, Creative Hearts and Minds of the Nez Perce, Idaho Nimiipuu country. The film Creative Hearts and Minds of the Nez Perce takes you on an educational adventure. Learn from the Nimiipuu historian, storyteller Nakia Williams about the deep relationship the Nimiipuu have with the land in north central Idaho. The film is I watched it and I just saw this. It's out on the Facebook page. If this is your first time here joining us, we'd like to thank you for that. But we also want to say that we're going to leave comment or links to all of the stories that we run here in the description. And if you have any questions or comments, feel free to leave them. If you have any story ideas, feel free to reach out with it or for us on those. But this story, the description says it takes a trip up Hell's Canyon with Stacia Morfin, a storyteller, dancer, and founder of Nez Perce Tourism. It's a neat video. It was done by Brandon McCone. I had the opportunity to meet Brandon McCone. He's a young native filmmaker, Nimiipuu, high schooler. He showed up at the One Heart Native American Arts and Film Festival last time I was here in town, and I got an interview with him. So I'm going to be posting that little interview there. It's pretty cool to see what his ambitions were and to see this come out. You know, it was really well done. I was really happy to see it. It's really inspiring to see native filmmakers. So that was pretty exciting. We'll be sure to share the link on that. So how about the... Oh, go ahead.
Yep. No, I've got a news story. The Charcusta News. We wanted to cover... They are talking about the COVID-19 vaccine roadshow beginning Monday. There'll be mass shipments from the Pfizer vaccine to all points on the compass in the United States and its territories. However, initial shipments will be aimed at frontline healthcare personnel. So there's going to be a long line, working through a lot of the different aspects of the population. And it might not get to the general public till June or July. But the KSKT Tribal Healthcare Department expects to receive Pfizer or the presently, getting it reviewed by the Food and Drug Administration, the Moderna vaccine doses by late December, early January. So we're looking forward to that getting out to Indian country. Of course, the tribes, an issue is access to a medical freezer to store the vaccines at extremely high, extreme temperatures, and that's what's needed to store some of these vaccines. So we're working on that in Indian country.
Yeah, that's pretty exciting, and that's through the Confederated Salish and Kootenai health department that they have, which is pretty exciting, to be able to get that going out there and get the ball rolling. With so many tribes, so many different reservations, it's going to take a while to get everybody coordinated, but to keep the ball moving, it's been I'm sure, an enormous effort, not only on a national level for the whole country, but in order to get out to some of the rural communities, I know is a big effort too, because you got to keep that stuff, sub-zero, man. Yeah. How do you transport that, or how do you transport it? How do you store it? So it'll be interesting to see. So moving right along, we have a COVID Urban Indian Health Center. Their Urban Indian Health Institute asked Native Americans for opinions about COVID vaccine. So Abigail Echohawk out of the Seattle office of the Urban Indian Health Institute, has been asking for some opinions on how you think COVID's been handled. So we're going to leave a link. I'm not going to cover too much on this, but they do a really good job over there at gathering statistics. And if you want to be heard, this is a great opportunity for you to be heard. We'll leave the link in the description below. I know that you have a story that you have on a friend of yours that is...
one of our very own frontline healthcare workers, Dr. Rex Quimps. He's a member of the Yakima Nation. Now, last week, Jeff mentioned, when they first had shipments out to England. So here we have the first native that we're aware of, Dr. Quimps. He grew up on the Umatilla Indian Reservation and is a Yakima tribal member. Out there in Yakima country, they call him Dr. Q. So he went to UW Medical School and did his residency right here in our own Spokane Sacred Heart Hospital. So shout out to Dr. Quimps. We appreciate our frontline workers and all of those healthcare professionals that go to work and risk their own health every day. So Thank you, Dr. Q.
Thank you, Dr. Q. We appreciate that, and it's really neat to be able to see. I know we started counting the number of days, and I thought this was going to be something that was going to take a while to get the vaccine out to Indian country, but it's not taking that long at all. This is really cool. I'm really happy that we're able to get the frontline workers. I know that Jay Inslee here in Washington had announced that our next round, because they went ahead and distributed the first round of vaccines to frontline healthcare workers, but he announced that we were going to have a 40% reduction in supply on the next round of vaccines. So we're going to have to see, hopefully it's one of those things where, they had to cut the next round, but the following round is going to be right behind it. So it's not going to be one of those things where they cut it by 40% and then we don't see anything after that. Hopefully it'll be just one of those things where it got cut, but then can just roll over. And by the time they get the second round distributed, the third round will already be here. So we'll have to keep an eye on that. So.
Well, if you think about every person needing a vaccine, and not one but two in some cases, hundreds of thousands, millions of people, it's definitely a logistical issue.
It is a logistical issue, and I want to say this because there's people that are like, I don't know if I want to take a vaccine, and some people I can understand. I myself am like, gosh, I don't know if I'm ready for this vaccine. I don't know if the FDA and all the politics that are behind it. I was kind of scared, but that being said, you know how much I don't like saying that being said. That being said, when I went overseas and I was working overseas, I had 14 vaccinations. This is one vaccination. They're asking us all to get one vaccination. I had 14. Those are in addition to all the ones I got as a kid. I've had pretty good luck with the vaccines. We have a lot, and as much as I haven't heard any bad things coming around from it. They did say that some people with egg allergies and shellfish and that kind of thing. But that's the same with a lot of different vaccines. You got to keep an eye on that. So you definitely want to check with people as we go along and keep your eye on the news and see before you go ahead and get yours. But when it comes around, I'm still here 14 later. My arms were so sore. I had to go back, and it was not fun, but it was worth it. Experience I'll never forget.
Well, you got to trust the science. You see Dr. Q taking the vaccination. I think it's okay if they, folks wouldn't get it out there. They've been working hard. And yes, they did expedite the process, but they've checked all the boxes, and so it'll be coming to your reservation pretty soon. Just hang in there, Indian country, a little bit longer, and we can get back to our normal lives.
Get back to powwows. Yeah. I would like to invite you, if you have never checked out my YouTube channel, Jeff Ferguson Photos, I've got a couple hundred powwow videos on there, all from the Inland Northwest. If you want to see stuff from out at Welpinit or up in Cusick or Gathering at the Falls, I've got a couple hundred, lots of jingle dress dancers on there. It's J. Ferguson photos. Been shooting out for the past few years. There's stuff from Arlie and just all over,
Well, in just some of our recent episodes, we have Arlie Powell, the Jingle Jess Iron Woman, and then we have also on that is the men's round bustle. So shout out to Brown Eagle and some of those other folks we captured, and then as well, just recently, Jeff, we traveled to Santa Fe last year, and we got Charlene Teeters. So please check out some of our videos that we just recently got posted. It's been a busy year, but we're trying to get some of the video that we've done up.
Yeah, I got enough for another 10 episodes that I'm going to be working on getting those edited gradually as they come out, because they do take time. But I know that we have Elmo is coming up. There's footage from Elmo. There's footage from the Walla Walla relays. There's footage from Gathering at the Falls this last year. Not this year, but this last year before that. So there is more, and so just to be sure to check it out. It's good. So anyhow, moving. Well, no, I'm not going to even say it. Somebody said, "Hey, you say moving right along quite a bit." Next on our agenda. Hey, I'm just kidding. So I'm going to try and wrap up all things COVID. This one is I shouldn't joke about the Blackfeet Nation. They, despite loosen COVID-19 restrictions by the state of Montana, the Blackfeet Nation is still exercising caution. Please see the Blackfeet COVID phase plan to learn more about tribe's current response. They've decided to extend it, so you want to check out. Go to the Blackfeet Nation website. We'll leave a link for that in the description below. So
a lot of tribes are having to extend their stay-at-home orders. The Blackfeet is continuing through the December 20th. And I know a number of reservations, when you go up to our reservation, the tribal council currently has a stay-at-home order. So please do your best, stay home. The vaccinations are coming. We're getting closer.
Yeah, so. All right, so we have a story that's a little different. Again, I thought I was wrapping up all things COVID, but this is just a direct result of that. And I know some people are going to be sad. We found this story. This
is the Cheney Free Press out in Airway Heights, the big cinemas that everybody, the reservations travel to from all around. The cinemas are closing down. So we're real sad about that. Out there in Airway Heights, it was the first stop. Tribal folks could go get their movie and popcorn and not have to come all the way into town. So folks from the Calvo Res and Coeur and Spokane, unfortunately, our village cinemas out there in Airway Heights is for sale, so it's closing down. Another victim of COVID. So keep supporting your small businesses, at least your favorite ones, if you want them to stay open.
Yeah, it's important. We have a lot of opportunity here to support small businesses with COVID being open. I saw an interview. Gosh, I can't remember what station that was on, but there was a gentleman here in town who owns a restaurant, and he was just pleading with people. He said, they feel like they're being targeted, some of these small businesses, because all these box stores are still open. You can still run down to Best Buy, or you can go to Walmart or Costco or all these places. And, it's one of those things where those organizations, those corporations that have deep pockets are just getting deeper pockets, and they're going to be around. I think the ones that were going to go out of business, as far as the big box stores and major chains, they went out of business. And the ones that are still struggling, the local guys, if you can, especially if you know any native business owners, man, if you guys got any native business owners, send us links to them, man. We'll be happy to post them on our Facebook page. We'll be happy to talk about them. We'll be happy to do interviews here live. We can do live interviews with this little switcher we got here. We have the opportunity to do Zoom meetings that we can share with you when we do our live shows. So, buy local, buy native. Buy
local, buy native.
Yeah, that's so. We have a amazing story here that Margo found. I was really excited to see this. This is, gosh, I'm going to have to work on getting these to come out a little bit better. This came off of the Coeur d'Alene Tribe's council fires. Yeah, council fires. So this is Coeur d'Alene Tribe. Do you want to do this story?
Sure.
It's a great story.
I'll get started off at Jeff, and then you can jump in as well. So the Coeur d'Alene Tribe Fish and Wildlife Department, the Salmon in the Classroom program has officially kicked off. The summer Chinook salmon eggs donated by the Intiat National Fish Hatchery were placed in tanks at the Coeur d'Alene Tribal School, Early Childhood Learning Center, and Lakeside Elementary this week. A big shout out to our partnering schools and teachers for their commitment to this program. We couldn't do it without you. So again, the Coeur d'Alene Tribe is working across their classrooms to begin to educate about the salmon life cycle. So many of our tribal cultures were dependent upon the salmon, and that was a part of our way of life. Our bands were named in relationship to the river, and our salmon, Swinhuamenet, the pink cheek people. And so I think this is such a powerful story that the Coeur d'Alene Tribe are really bringing our traditional knowledge back into the schoolroom, the classroom, and teaching it to our young people.
That is such it's one of those projects that's uniting Indian country. It is so exciting to see all these tribes work together. Tribes from the Upper Columbia United Tribes, the Northwest Treaty Tribes,
Yukut,
Kripvik, affiliated tribes of Northwest Indians. All these, it's just really, it's exciting to see, and I am so thankful. Shout out to the Coeur d'Alene Tribe for sharing that story on your Facebook page. That's amazing to see all the kids involved. I think it's so important to get our youth involved. That's how you raise little fish biologists that want to come up and learn how to do all that stuff. That's how you get them interested. You get hands on, and the Coeur d'Alene Tribe, they're really progressive, moving in a positive direction. We had the whoosh. We talked about the whoosh technology before. We talked about for those of you that don't know, we here in Spokane, where we're based out of, in Spokane, we haven't seen salmon up here in 80 years. It's been something that was cut off by Grand Coulee Dam, was kind of the nail in the coffin for it. But we have all these dams down the Spokane River, with dams all the way down the Columbia River, and a lot of those dams have passage. The fish can go by, fish ladders or what have you. But in the early 1900s, it was really the canneries. They had and I saw photographs from back then, and the photograph just said, this is what 1 million cans of salmon looks like. And so it wasn't only the dams, it was the canneries. Yep. The canneries really helped kind of put a big dent in the runs every year. And so we've been struggling to get that back. We've got amazing people out there working to do this. We got Dr. Michelle up there with Yukut. I know that Paulette Jordan, she's made a commitment to do that. We've had the governor of Idaho has made a commitment to help bring the salmon back. The Coeur d'Alene Tribe, all these guys are doing that, and they're doing it in the labs. We've had releases. We're doing a reintroduction into the Columbia River, and the story they just told me. I was out there, and they told me, I guess it was about a year ago now, that they told me they had dropped several hundred salmon into the Columbia River above Grand Coulee, and then they watched them and they tagged them and watched them go all the way down through the dams, and you can see the numbers with the tags. And then they started having fish come back, and they actually had one come back up over Grand Coulee, and that fish was fish number 007. I thought that was great. I was like, wow, this guy knows what he's doing. But then, just like we had shown you before, we had multitude of fish coming back. And I thought, because if you think about, if you go and you drop 100 fish in above Grand Coulee and you lose 5% going all the way down, let's just say you lose 2% going all the way down through 7 dams, that's 14%. And if you lose 2% coming back up, that's 28%. If you compound that, it's closer to half. But it's even higher than that. I think I was told that each dam is like 4%, so it's almost double that. So for us to get fish coming back up is exciting.
Yeah, well, it really takes everyone, Jeff. We have tribal biologists. Shout out to Tim Pione at the Spokane Tribe, yeah. Jeanette Finley at the Colville Tribe. We have tribal biologists and hydrologists. We have folks working for, federal agencies. Joe Pione at BPA. Rudy Pione is at the BIA. So it's all of these folks all up and down the river, clear into Idaho. The Nez Perce, Kripvik, they're working really hard to restore the lands and make it ready for the salmon. We need cold, clean water, and so our scientists are working up and down the Columbia River. You know, the Columbia River Treaty, folks across the region are working hard for those salmon.
Yeah, so I just kind of wanted to kind of give you a little insight. Some of you may wonder, well, why salmon? What is the big deal with salmon? And I had wondered that for a long time myself growing up, because all the elders would talk about the salmon, and I just could never understand that. I always thought, you guys are crazy. There aren't any salmon here.
All we have is this little pan fry from Turtle Lake.
Yeah. Yeah, so it took a long time for me to understand what the meaning of it was, and I did the Art Plaza project for the city of Spokane. If you get a chance, it's right down between the Monroe Street Bridge and City Hall, and there's interpretive panels down there that tell you the story of the salmon. And in my research, I found out that the June hogs that came up from the ocean that swam all the way up here would get as big as 110 pounds. Almost 6 feet in length, about 5.5 feet in length. They were huge, huge fish, just massive fish that would come up. And then as far as the Coeur d'Alenes go, the Coeur d'Alenes are talking about this, and they're so far inland. I thought this was really interesting because they would swim up to the confluence right there of Hangman Creek, and then they'd hang a right and they'd head out, and those fish would go all the way up, and they'd catch those, because that's a tributary of the Spokane River. Those salmon would swim up that way, and they'd hit the Coeur d'Alene Res, and that's how they got out there. It's really exciting to see that, and to see the resilience of the fish coming back, and to see that this is happening in our lifetime. I never imagined this would happen in our lifetime. So
we better get moving to our next stories. That's almost our time, Jeff. So I think we had a few stories.
We have one. It's kind of one big story. This one came out. This was a press release. I thought was super exciting. Oh gosh, and I don't have my copy of the press release. So what happened? I'm going to break this down for you because I do have a copy of this. So what happened was we found out. I'm going to see if I can pull this up. Where am I at? We found out that we got some Amazon money coming to Indian country. Lots of Amazon money coming to Indian country. So the Blackfeet tribe, we found out that the Blackfeet tribe got a, let's see if I can find this, got a gift. But I'm gonna do this. Mackenzie Scott, she donated. Not only did she donate to the Blackfeet College, she donated to the Institute of American Indian Arts. She donated $5 million to IAIA down in Santa Fe.
All right.
That was really exciting. And for her to do that, she was targeting. Gosh, I am. Oh, here, go ahead.
So, Jeff and I had the opportunity to travel down to the Institute of American Indian Arts. Amazing facility, brand new built. The land had been donated, and so they have a beautiful facility. If you have kids that are thinking about going to college, if you have kids that are creative and artistic, please go visit the Institute of American Indian Arts. They've got video, they have got photography, they have a Masters of Fine Arts, they have writing, and of course all your art mediums, painting, carving, all of the different ways. Our tribal people are really creative. And so I really encourage you to go down and check out the Institute of American Indian Arts. And when we have these financial dollars coming in Indian country, that means scholarship money. That means that our kids can go to these great institutions and get their education. Just a little bit of help goes a long way. So we want to really thank Mackenzie Scott for donating the $5 million to IAIA. We have a lot of artists in this country, George Flett, George Hill, Leonard Boyd, and recent folks that have gone down there, Leanne Campbell from the Coeur d'Alene tribe. So it's really nice to see such an amazing facility available to our youth. They have amazing dorms, the amazing dining area with salad bars and tofu. It was really impressive, all the
gluten-free and vegan and all that stuff. It was pretty cool. Yeah, so I thought it was really exciting. The Blackfeet College got money, Native News Online got money, and last night reading, this was a little while back, I guess this was the first round, we found out that AIGC, the American Indian Graduate Center in Albuquerque, they got some money too. So, and that's really, we talked a little bit about that before, but that's pretty exciting. So
Shout out to Angelique at the American Indian Graduate Center. In the past, they've really only focused on funding graduate students, but they have received such amazing donations. We're going to have a workshop coming up on how to apply for scholarships, and you better believe we'll be looking at the American Indian Graduate Center. So please be sure and check it out. Your kids need to be having their FAFSA in, their applications to college, and then we're going to help you do some scholarship applications here shortly.
All right. So I think that's about it. We're getting really close to our time.
We are trying to keep be on time, and we know your time is valuable as you're rushing out the door. We just want to give you a little news from Indian country and get you caught up.
Yeah, and be sure to like and subscribe. Thank you once again for joining us. We'll see you on Monday.